of the ashes, I rise with a roar. Feet on the ground, but I'm aiming for more. The smoke still lingers, but I'm breathing it in. The end of the start is where I begin. Out of the ashes, into the fire, burning brighter, climbing higher. No turning back, no second try. Out of the ashes, I learned to fly.
Hi guys, sorry it's been so long. I've been super duper sick. I went through a 5-day process of being very, very, very ill. Uh, and holidays and just bullshit. Uh, it happens. So, we're going on to, I do believe it's like episode 5, I think, where we get into my coma and the fun stuff I saw in there. So I'm just gonna just kind of jump in and start going with it. Um, so of course I died. I was revived and I was placed in an induced coma. And while I was in that coma, it's amazing what the brain does. It does, it takes you to worlds that you're just like, what the hell? Um, so, some of the things that happened during this time were I went to a greenhouse, and if anybody is in Colorado Springs, then they know south of Memorial Park. And I went to a 2-story green Victorian home. And I walked through it. There were some homeless people there. There were boxes everywhere. The kitchen was gorgeous, of course, because I love a gorgeous kitchen. And then I went outside and I sat on the steps out back of this Victorian home. And I sat on 2 steps and a bear came out of nowhere and walked up to me, and I thought, oh crap, I'm gonna get eaten. And instead, I reached out and he let me pet him. And I petted this bear. It's now stuck in my memory with coma brain. Um, it for some reason, it just stays. It doesn't go away, and you can't take it away. It's just there. And then, so moving on, while I was in and out of consciousness in the hospital, um, I would, I went to a wing of the hospital that didn't exist, and I went through the kitchen, and I wasn't allowed to have food, of course. Ice chips, that's it. And so there were tons of food, and I ate a bunch of food. Um, so that was another like coma experience. The worst one was right after I woke up from my coma. Um, I told the nurse that I was watching people with trucks lined up along the road outside. And there, one truck pulled up, and some girls lined up and climbed up this window of a part of the hospital that didn't exist. Uh, and they did that. And then these semi trucks started pulling up, And guys in like ninja suits got out and went over behind the building that did not exist. And then they started lighting baby pigs on fire. And when the nurse came in, I said, you should call 911. And what I've been told by therapists recently is that the nurse did the wrong thing. She basically let me believe that I was seeing it, and I was not. It was something that's called Pick's disease, and it's from fentanyl, and being in a coma. Pick's disease will make you see things that are not there. Um, I can't say enough how important it is for nurses um, to explain to patients as me that that's not real. What she did is said they get crazy on Friday nights. She closed the curtains, and I believed it was real. I don't, I know that she did not understand what she was doing to me, but she left an embedded impression and memory in me that will never go away. And so, for nurses, that's very important that you explain to them, sweetheart, this is fentanyl. This is what is happening to you. You are not seeing that. I understand that you think you saw it, but you didn't. And that would have been priceless to me moving on in my world because I still live with those memories. So when I was coming out of my coma, I know for a fact my husband was the only one there. But coming out of my coma, my husband, my son, and my ex-boyfriend was there. And my ex-boyfriend was shaking a jug of red Kool-Aid. He asked me what my blood type was, and I said A positive, and he said woohoo and ran out the door. My son walked up and cried. He wasn't there, but I thought he was. My husband, when I did actually open my eyes, was there, and I wondered what the hell happened, and he said, you've been gone for 12 days. Um, all of it is so hard to put together. It is, it's crazy. It sounds crazy. And, when you have a coma, you live it. Like, you just see these things and you have nightmares and they're not easy to deal with. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's really tough. Um, I don't even know what to say as far as it just has been quite the journey over the last couple years to just try to somehow get back to some sort of reality. Um, when you lose that time, everything that you look at, everything that you touch, everything feels like a dream. It's never, ever, ever the same. You can go through the motions of life, and try to be who you were, but you will never, ever, ever be who you were. Um, the coma thing was tough. I have to ask my husband sometimes, did this happen? Did that happen? Because I had a really large fever, and the nurse, I couldn't remember whether it was real or it was fake, that there was a window outside my room, and there was, where she watched two ICU patients, and I had a fever, and they kept putting ice cubes in my armpits and my crotch, and I kept taking them out. I was like, nope, that doesn't feel good. Yeah, I mean, I really literally felt like I was being tortured. I understand they were trying to drop the fever, but could you be a little bit nicer about it? Um, so, I went through that, but I wasn't sure if it was real or it wasn't. So, I mean, I've recently asked my husband, was that real? Or did I imagine that? You know, because I was in my coma and I imagined that there were like 10 patients in a room and 10 beds and a fireplace. That would have been nice. Uh, you know, um, but the reality is, it's all very, very, very hard. And if anybody wonders what I would recommend, don't take chances. Uh, don't, this is terrible to say, but don't respect your doctors. You respect yourself, and you stand up for yourself and say, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not going to do that. It, if I had, I wouldn't be in this position and doing this podcast. And I'm sorry it's been so long, guys. I I've been very sick. I've missed Thanksgiving. I'm darn near gonna miss Christmas. But I'm still trying. I'm still fighting. I'm still doing the best that I can. And I hope you guys are too. So I love you guys. Peace.